Okay. My name's Rebecca Myers. If you spend any time at Bread of Life, we've probably run into each other at some point. I was just sharing with you that I moved here 13 years ago from Jacksonville, Florida. So I'm a Greensburg transplant. Actually, this weekend is my 13-year Greensburg anniversary is what I call it. And was looking for a place to get involved in the community and looked up soup kitchens near me because I like to cook. And really thought I was going to have to go to Cincinnati or Indy or Columbus, and 1.2 miles from my house was this little gym called Bread of Life. So I called Melissa and said, do you ever take volunteers? And she said, yeah. And she said, when would you like to come in? I said, today would be great, because I was very homesick and was looking for a place to give my time and serve. And that was kind of the beginning of being a part of the Bread of Life family. And since then, I've served on the board, been the board president. I now work on multiple committees, from governance to volunteering to marketing and fundraising, which is why I hang out with Jim Stewart a lot. But it is just an incredible place to spend your time and to serve those around us that are in need. I could talk about it for hours because I feel really passionate about it.
All right. And Jim, we've got you in with us this morning as well. Tell us about your involvement with Bread of Life.
Yeah. Yes, good morning. So, named Jim Stewart, and I've helped out on Bread of Life for a lot of things, for fundraisers and on that side. My wife, Susan, is actually a current vice president, and she volunteers there to help prepare the meals on a lot of times on Monday mornings, and has been active there. I'm currently helping to lead up the committee for the Farmers Feeding the Flock. Merrill Smith had headed that up, and he passed away this past year, and so we've got a group of us that are working on that. So that's kind of how I've looped into the Bread of Life.
All right. While we're talking Farmers Feeding the Flock, let's go ahead and just kind of do an update with that.
Yeah, so the field got planted on May the 10th. Jeff Smiley planted the field. It was prepared. He has a John Deere 16-row planter that's pulled with a Caterpillar, and I was out there riding with him in the planter and visited with him a little bit. They used strip tillage. It was the field was prepared for strip tillage in April, and it's growing along. I checked with them yesterday, and it's coming along. They've made the post-application of chemicals, and they've taken tissue samples because you got to fine-tune the crop. It's at a little short on magnesium, so they're going to be putting some foliar nutrients on here later to help that out. So it's coming along. Going to be putting the sign as soon as it stops raining. Going to put the sign up here soon. So we're excited about how that's coming, and we've had a lot of the suppliers of helping to support that. So appreciate that.
Very neat projects, really taken off over the last few years.
Yeah.
And we always look forward to the outcome in the fall.
Yeah.
It's gonna
right now, our current donations from the community are just over 24,000, which is about halfway towards our $50,000 goal from the community. The Waynesburg Christian Church, their Vacation Bible School, kids donated that offering to Farmers Feeding the Flock, and they raised $763.84. So we really appreciate that. And we've had 50 individuals and businesses who have already sent in their support. So, and we got more to go.
More to go.
Yeah, and so we want people to. We have a sponsor an acre. Merrill Smith came up with this, working actually with some of the youth at one of the schools, came up with suggestions like, well, how much does it cost to put out an acre? And when we looked at the numbers for this year, for a 68 bushel per acre crop for soybeans, it's about $380. And so, that's kind of a fundraising target. So if you want to help sponsor an acre, so to speak, and we'll take more. There's 30 acres in the project, but we'll take more than 30 acres of sponsorship. But that includes your fertilizer, your seed, your pesticides, herbicide application, planting, fungicide application, harvesting, hauling it to the market. You also got interest, and you got insurance, which for a lot of farmers this year, insurance has been important because, especially down south of here, they've had some trouble getting planted. So, that's a good opportunity for farmers to have.
And the rain is a blessing, but can also be tough.
Yeah. So. Well, my Uncle Gilman always says you can do more with it than you can without it. But there's probably times that you could do a little less than what we've had for at least for a few people.
Very good. Well, you want to talk to us a little bit about volunteers and how you become part of Bread of Life?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So, for those who don't know, we have a very small staff. Gosh, they are small but mighty at Bread of Life, and so the majority of the work that has to be done to serve, which we serve 3 hot meals 3 days a week. And that requires a lot of hands to rescue the food, prepare the food, sort it when we get it, serve it, deliver it, even the cleanup afterwards. And so our volunteers are just an integral part of us being successful. We went with a skeleton crew through COVID, never missed a meal. I mean, we were open, never missed a day of being open, and we were taking meals out to people's cars, but that's what you do in extreme circumstances. On our regular functioning weeks, we need about 125 volunteer hours. I mean, from start to finish and everything that we do there. And a lot of people will, say, well, I don't really like to cook. Well, there are so many other things that we need to kind of keep the ball rolling around there. We have people who will take our rescue vans out and pick up food. A lot of people don't realize that 92% of what we serve is food that was going to be thrown away, food that was going to end up in a landfill somewhere. And so it comes in donated from grocery stores and places like Aldi, Walmart, KB Foods, and other places that Melissa just works her magic and transforms it into these really fresh, beautiful meals. And we're not opening up cans of soup and SpaghettiOs there. We are putting together fresh fruit salads, and
they're very nutritious meals.
Oh yeah, very nutritious meals. And for many, it's the real nutritious meals that they get every week. Other times they may be not getting their 5 fruits and vegetables every day. But we have those who rescue the food. We have those who help us weigh it in and unload it. Speaking of weighing it in, we just hit a major milestone in April. Since we opened, we've rescued 3 million pounds of food.
Wow.
And that's a lot of food that didn't go to a landfill and into people's bellies, and we're super proud of that. But we go into the process of keeping all that organized there, so it gets loaded into our freezers, refrigerators, pantry. And then, we do have people who love to cook. We've got groups that come in and work together. So we have food prep, getting it ready to be served. Jim's wife comes in on Monday. She preps and serves. And then, there's the cleanup process afterwards. Anybody that loves to do dishes, please come see us, because we have dishes that need to be done. But it takes a lot of hands to make that happen. In June, we served 2,565 meals. And people a lot of times are like, really? That's a lot of meals. I mean, there were people coming through our doors those 3 days a week that needed to be fed. We rescued 11,513 pounds of food. We had 32 people attend one of our Rise cooking classes. And then there was 580.68 volunteer hours from 166 different volunteers.
Wow.
So that's just 1 month. That's just a snapshot. So it takes a lot. But gosh, the way that we're able to take care of our neighbors and their needs and make sure that they are having some basic needs met, we all make better decisions when we're not hungry. And so that's kind of a snapshot. But we also have a couple other areas outside of the kitchen. So
yes.
One of the things that we've recently started is something called our 6 a.m. Club. And that is for people who might like to come volunteer, but coming after work, or students coming after school, it doesn't work out. Melissa is there very, very early, much earlier than 6 a.m. every day. And so we thought, well, the doors are open, and so people can come in before work, just donate an hour. Come in and help us get ready for the day for our big group of volunteers that come in between 8 and 8:30. And get your day started, serving others. So we've got the 6 a.m. Club available to people, like I said, for our early risers. And then I've been going out and speaking to groups within the community. So if you have a group that meets, I don't care if it's a book club, a group at your church. I was the only girl at a men's breakfast a few weeks ago. And I just go in and talk for about 15 minutes and share with groups about ways that they can volunteer at Bread of Life. Get together, you hang out with your friends. It's kind of fun, actually. I mean, particularly if you bring a group in, you're all just, peeling potatoes or cutting up fruit or doing whatever the task is for the day. You're hanging out and you're giving back to your community. So I've been going in and talking to some groups. So anybody that might be interested in me coming in or speaking, maybe even Melissa, please call the Soup Kitchen. We'd be thrilled to have you. And then the other area that a lot of people are still getting familiar with is Garments of Grace, which is our clothing ministry.
Yes.
So when we moved out of our old building, we opened up, we had a need. We knew there was a need from our patrons coming in and talking to us about it, for when folks either are in a situation where maybe they perhaps have had to leave all their belongings behind. They're homeless. They've got a job interview. I mean, they want to look nice for their job interview, or they've gotten a job and they need clothes for that now. So we have Garments of Grace where you can make an appointment, tell us about yourself, and we pull outfits together. And it's not like walking into boxes of clothes. Katie does an incredible job over there of making it be a great experience. You've got a really nice private dressing room for people to come in, and it's pretty amazing to see the transformation of when they come in and they leave with this great smile on their face because they know that they've got what they need.
And it just makes them feel better if they know they're going into a situation and they're prepared for it.
So we've got, we're actually next week, we are doing a clothing giveaway. So the 7th through the 10th. There's no appointment needed when we have a giveaway. And it's kind of our way of moving our, as we see our stores, right? They're already starting to get rid of their summer stuff to get ready for fall. And we'll kind of go through that same process. So next week, folks can come in, I think between 12 and 5 on the 7th through the 10th, and we're going to be helping them with whatever their needs are there. But that's another place to volunteer at Garments of Grace. We have we ask for people to, when they donate their clothes, for them to be like new or gently used, because we want to offer our best to folks when they come in. And so we need hands. We need hands to sort. We need hands to, we have washer and dryer there if things need to be freshened up. We even have a sweet little group of ladies that do mending and hemming for us.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's a whole different area at Bread of Life that, if that's something that you're interested in, we can plug you in there as well.
If someone is interested in either volunteering or making a donation, how do they go about doing that?
So first thing I do is direct you to our website. We've got a fabulous website that Emily Steele, locally, she was serving on our board, and she redesigned that website for us. And it's so user-friendly. So if you want to volunteer, there's a button on the front page. It says Volunteer Now, and it takes you to our volunteer page. You can schedule yourself. You can fill out our volunteer forms and go through the volunteer, I don't want to call it an application process, but we do take information because we share that, not your personal information, but we share the information about how many volunteers we have and where they come from, many times for grant applications. But we like to do that. We do a background check and make sure we get you plugged into the right areas in the kitchen. And then, so that's the way you volunteer. You can also call, and we're going to tell you to do that same thing, make it really easy. Donating, same thing. Front page of our website, there's a Donate Now button, and you click there, and you can designate your gift if you want it to go to Farmers Feeding the Flock, if you want to go to operations there at the kitchen. But we try to make it easy as possible. We feel like we're asking. We do a lot of asking, don't we?
We do.
Ask for your time. We ask for your treasure. But we try to make that really easy. And if you have any questions, you can always call the Soup Kitchen.
All right. What's that number?
812-663-1055.
I know a lot of people have gardens, and this summer, if you have any extra produce that you're not going to utilize yourself, feel free to donate that, and we'll find a way to utilize that and
always
put it in. Also, there's Dog-Eared Pages bookstores collecting donations for Bread of Life. So, great opportunity for both having a bookstore there in Greensburg, and you can bring in paper towels, spray Pam, or ketchup. Those are things we're trying to build up our supply on a little bit. So if you want to,
you'd probably go through an enormous amount of ketchup if I had to guess.
It's funny. We really, she uses it cooking, making barbecue sauces, multiple things like that, more than we do really giving it out or that kind of thing. Dog-Eared Pages, it's great to have our local businesses support us, and they ask what we need. Jersey Mike's did it for us a couple of months ago. And a lot of times people don't realize, when I'm going to talk about our new freezer for a second. We just had a new freezer installed by Phoenix Refrigeration, and that's donor dollars and grant dollars go to things like that for when we have equipment. Obviously, the Farmers Feeding the Flock is utilized to support our operations there, but when we have big needs come up, we focus those dollars to support that. And we need a new freezer, and partly because the number of turkeys that we get starting in October to serve our Thanksgiving meal, but also to support our other major fundraiser of the year, the Turkey Noodle Dinner. We have to have a place to put those. And last year, the community was so good, and they brought us turkey after turkey. And we were stumbling over turkeys in the freezer because we were still functioning. Like, we have to use that freezer to cook meals and do all those things. So we got the new freezer for that, but also to make it possible for us to take more food donations. And Jim talking about if you've got extra that comes from your garden this year. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in the summer I've gone by and we have tables set up and people are just shucking corn, corn and more corn. And then we take that and put it up in our freezer just like we do at home. And so we have fresh corn to offer throughout the year. Same thing with tomatoes. The list goes on, but we have to have a place to store that. And so we're really excited about having this new freezer and the space it's going to offer, and keeping our volunteers safe going in and out of the freezer is great.
No more tripping over turkeys.
No more tripping over turkeys.
Right. You guys do a lot of great things, a lot of the meals served and people taken care of. As we look a little ahead to the year, you mentioned the Turkey Noodle Dinner, other fundraisers that'll be going on?
So we actually focus our time and energy on these two major fundraisers. Farmers Feeding the Flock is probably our largest fundraiser as far as what our net ends up being on that, with Turkey Noodle Dinner not far behind. I said it earlier, we ask a lot. I mean, we are an organization that is supported by this community, both monetarily and by volunteer hours. And we try to make sure that those asks that we make are very focused. So we try to limit our fundraising to those two things. Of course, for those who haven't ever gotten one, we've got our cookbooks still around. And in November, we'll do a one-day order and pickup of our noodles.
Okay.
So all the noodles that we have at Turkey Noodle Dinner are all homemade from scratch. And about August, she has our noodle making teams that come in, and once a week they are just
cranking out the noodles. And so we will sell those in November, just to have those available for folks. But that's really, those are our two big ones.
Major big ones. Yeah.
Very good. Well, doing great things. Anything else we need to mention about Bread of Life?
I think we've covered everything today. Just a huge thank you for the support. We can't say enough about how our community, how Greensburg loves on us, and we're really, really appreciative.
What days do we serve meals?
Monday,
Wednesday,
Thursday.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And just show up if you need a meal.
3 to 5. Yeah, no requirement needed. You show up hungry, and we make sure you leave full.
All right.
Yeah, and thanks for those that support the Farmers Feeding the Flock. And one more shout out, if you'd like to sponsor an acre, $380 is what we ask for. If you'd like to do that, and we'll recognize those people that do that, and you can sponsor more than 1 acre. So
no limits.
Yeah, no limits.
No quantity limits on this.
Yeah.
Very good. Great work you guys are doing. Thanks for coming in this morning and sharing it with the rest of the community. It's 9:34 on Tree Country 1330.